Welcome to part 6 of Module 2, Well-being by Welcoming Greens. Here is the list of points that we will be looking at in this chapter. Let's begin with macro-level design, that is, site planning. Here is a ground floor plan of a residence. The floor plan looks rather dull and needs a makeover. Do you think you can add some plants here? Here is a little tip for you. Look for open spaces. Create some views indoor and outdoor. Head to this link mentioned, drag and drop the plant there and start marking your trees. Vegetation plays an important role in site planning as well as building design, as it directly impacts the degree of sensitivity in which the built environment responds to the context and the climate. From large-scale regional planning to site planning at a small scale, vegetation zones are direct indicators of segregation between built and unbuilt areas in planning. Vegetation also impacts microclimate, frames views, and helps in wayfinding on site. It also creates a color palette, in turn promoting well-being for the occupants. The play of light and shadows, smell and sound due to vegetation enhances the overall experience of the space. Tune into this talk by architect Devyani Deshmukh Upasani on site planning and natural factors to study more about vegetation. Let us look at how evergreen and deciduous trees can be planted on site. If your site is located in regions with hot and dry climate, or you need to provide some privacy, you will require evergreen trees that provide shade throughout the year. If your site is located in a region with composite climate where shade is not required throughout the year, you can choose deciduous trees. Let us learn about some trees that fit for different purposes. Here is a list of trees that you can plant in your house. They will enhance and transform your space. To know more about what kinds of trees you could plant for different purposes, refer to this link in the external references. In this segment, we will learn about biophilic design and how it helps bring a sense of well-being to any space. In the second part of this module, we learnt about how good indoor air quality can play a huge role in helping live and work comfortably and productively in a space. But how does one achieve good IAQ? What possible steps can be taken to ensure clean and healthy air inside your space? By welcoming greens into the design. Have you heard of the term biophilia? Do you know what it means and where it is used? Let us find out. We display positive psychological and physiological responses towards certain forms of nature. Our material needs from nature, such as for food, water, and shelter, have led us to align our psychological, emotional, and spiritual needs. Did you know? Biophilic design was developed in 1984 when American biologist Edward O. Wilson realized urbanization was disconnecting humans and nature. What is biophilic design? Biophilic design can reduce stress, improve cognitive function and creativity, and improve our well-being and expedite healing. As the world population continues to urbanize, these qualities are ever more important. It is essential for providing people opportunities to live and work in healthy places and spaces with less stress and great overall health and well-being. Listen to what David Oakley explains on biophilic design and well-being. Click on this link in the description box. Let us now look at how biophilia and built form are correlated. Architectural historian Lewis Mumford said, "The great problem of the architect is to mold the essential structural form in such a way as to perform all the purposes for which the building exists. It must fit its size, harmonize with or stand out from its neighbors, fulfill its own function as a shelter, a workplace, or a play place, and give a special pleasure to everyone who passes it or enters it." Here are some elements that you can consider while designing your building. Indoor plants reduce illness, improve air quality, and also increase our productivity. Green roofs and walls bring clean and healthy air indoors, reduce heating and cooling loads, and reduce unnecessary noise from the outside. Skylights and glass walls can increase the amount of daylight and enhance connection with the outdoors. Green walls, rooftop gardens, and plenty of interior plants can be used to add greenery to the built environment. Let us look at an example. This project was a design competition entry for Design for the Next Generation Facade. The project was named Pixel Facade. It is an adaptive, scalable, and repeatable building system that can be applied to various building typologies. The system draws inspiration from our innate desire for nature, also known as biophilia. The Pixel Facade system merges a contemporary office environment with biophilic environments to create the next generation of office design. With an abundance of breakout spaces incorporating modular planters, shades, and furniture, the occupants have the ability to take a break from work and immerse themselves in an outdoor environment. Here is a visual image showing the connection of outdoor and indoor space. Look at the amount of daylight and greenery in the breakout space. Here are the detailed sections of the inner and outer glazing. Here are some of the services that the building design offers. It is very important to note that when we introduce greens into the building design, we must not forget how waterproofing and fire systems work. Tune into this TED Talk by architect Amanda Sturgeon, where she explains how by using biophilic design, one can heal body, mind, and soul. Biophilia is not only about plants. Human response to all things natural helps the human brain associate them with representations of living things. For example, arrangements seen in nature are typically recreated within the indoor environment as well. Let us now see the role played by water as an element in biophilia. The presence of water biophilic design pattern has evolved from research on the health and well-being benefits associated with access to water, including reduced stress, lower heart rate and blood pressure, increased feelings of tranquility, positive emotional responsiveness, improved concentration and perception, and memory restoration. There are a number of ways in which water can be brought into interior spaces, such as rain chain, step well, modular water wall, fountains, and so on. The presence of an active water feature also presents an opportunity through responsible design to educate users on issues of water scarcity and water efficiency while optimizing positive health impacts and fostering a connection to the place. Rain chains can be effective low-cost methods of harvesting rainwater while making the water a design element in the space, as seen in the images on the right and the left. The image in the center is that of a civic center that harvests water for a small Cambodian village. The structure is designed to funnel rainwater into a traditional ceramic vessel at the center of the structure. Water features can be used to directly bridge the gap between human experience and the building or site performance, such as when the feature becomes integral to outdoor rainwater management or indoor humidity control. Systems integration for water resource management justifies the cost of water features. Humanscapes Habitat Urban Living is a community housing project that uses local building materials and skills, generating its own energy while using renewable energy. This becomes a net energy positive environment. Zero discharge of water, recycling of solid waste, drought-resistant local species for landscaping, and growing organic food as a model for urban agriculture would be a hallmark of this project. The DWATS, that is Decentralized Wastewater Treatment Process, created and executed at Auroville, has been a success initiative by treatment of wastewater through underground bafflers, after which it undergoes a process of filtration in ponds to be passed through a vortex spiral and piped back for domestic reuse. The filtration ponds act as design elements apart from aiding the recycling process. The system can be scaled up or down and is exceptionally energy efficient at a fraction of the energy cost compared to conventional operated treatment plants. Now that you have studied biophilia in relation to built form, let us look at some real-life cases to understand this better. Let us look at the case study of a residential building to understand how greens promote well-being in homes. South Zahir Paradise by Chateau Tour is a 14-story contemporary residential building located in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Here is the ideation plan of the building. The lake on the south side brings in winds which flow through the open spaces within the building, essentially creating a wind tunnel which purifies the air as it flows through the numerous gardens throughout the building. The building offers a connection to the outside world by the use of glass. A visual showing indoor garden, connection of inside and outside, and a breakout space for the residents of the building. The use of glass boundary walls is also seen here. While most other boundary walls serve to function as exactly that, a wall of separation, the use of glass reimagines the meaning of a boundary, almost blurring it, making the building more inviting and less forbidding. Here is another typology with respect to welcoming greens. Babylon Hotel is a holiday resort in Hoi An, Vietnam. The name of the hotel, Babylon, is in reference to history's most famous hanging gardens. The holiday resort was designed with an aim to provide long-stay guests with a relaxing environment centered around green landscaping and a connection with nature, which is enhanced by the climbing plants that cover the hotel's facades. The plant-covered facades shelter the internal spaces from the sun. The green layer provides a visual barrier that creates the separation from the road to enhance privacy of the resort. A screen of concrete louvers wraps around the entire exterior and supports various species of trees and vines. Internal walls lining along the pool side are punctuated by openings, framing balconies overlooking this central space. Each balcony features a small sitting area with a planted bed positioned along its outer edge. Now that you have studied the importance of greens in the built environment, we will move on to understand glass and welcoming greens. Our natural setting, where we spend most of our time, is the built environment. Biophilic design satisfies our need to affiliate with nature within the built form that we inhabit. Let us understand how glass contributes to welcoming greens. Our well-being depends on contact with nature. It is ingrained. Our emotional, problem-solving, critical thinking abilities are in close association with the natural environment and are important to personal health, happiness, and productivity. How does glass help in bringing connectedness with nature? Visual connection with nature, a view to elements of nature, living systems, and natural processes. Dynamic and diffused light, leveraging various intensities of light and shadow that change over time to create conditions that occur in nature. Thermal and airflow variability, subtle changes in air temperature, relative humidity, airflow across the skin, and surface temperatures that mimic natural environments. People living in or near open spaces experience fewer physical and mental health issues. Commercial settings with natural light and ventilation, along with other environmental features, result in improved performance like concentration and memory, lower stress, and enhanced motivation. In communities, people experience a superior quality of life and a stronger sense of bonding. What happens to a person's well-being when the space they inhabit is visually connected with nature? Green areas that surround your space help in stress reduction, improved mental engagement, and have a positive impact on the person's overall happiness quotient. Here is a case study showing the relationship between glass and biophilic design. The Kandalama Hotel was constructed on the outskirts of Dambulla, Sri Lanka by architect Geoffrey Bawa. The flat roofs at Kandalama function well in a dry climate and are less material intensive. The design develops a spatial and visual sequence of entry that culminates in the revelation of the distant view. Shared facilities such as the lobby, restaurants, and pools are located in a series of broad terraced spaces at the center of the complex, while narrow extensions to the east and southwest of the public core contain the guest rooms. Here, glass as a material blends and connects the indoor and outdoor spaces. The Kandalama Hotel is an excellent example of how tourist facilities can be integrated into an undeveloped landscape successfully, fostering appreciation for the natural beauty of the setting while minimizing negative environmental consequences. The Kandalama Hotel is considered one of Bawa's most important works as it showcases so clearly Bawa's talent for creating effective spatial sequences and architectural narrative. Do you know that biophilic design is also used in urban design? Let us study how, shall we? Why biophilic urbanism? In addition to health and well-being benefits, biophilic urbanism is also being shown to address many significant challenges in urban environments, including climate change, resource security, population growth, and global financial crisis. Rise of biophilic urbanism. Industrialization in 1900s led to the rise of suburbs. By moving to suburbs, people wanted to move closer to nature. However, this led to urban sprawl and an increased dependence on cars, and therefore a growing ecological footprint, especially in American cities. Let us look at the benefits of biophilic urbanism. They reduce energy demand for heating and cooling, manage stormwater runoff, reduce congestion by encouraging walking and cycling, increase property values and stimulate the economic development and rejuvenation of urban areas, sequester carbon and reduce carbon emissions, enable urban food production and enhance food security, increase urban biodiversity. These elements are to be considered on a neighborhood level. Tune into this course on ACEDGE to study more about biophilic designs. Click on the link in the description box. Go back to your case study picked in the first part of this module. Observe the surroundings of the space that you have chosen. Do you see enough trees near your space? What is the proportion of built to unbuilt? Is there a visual connection to the natural surroundings? If there are trees, what function do they serve to your space? Are they shade givers or resistance to dust and smoke? Note all the factors you studied in welcoming greens. After you're done with observing, write down all your inputs on the attached Google form. Feel free to add a rough sheet of your analysis sketches to the discussion board. In the following chapter, we can understand the importance of design of public spaces and their impact on mental well-being.